Hey guys, how are you today? Quick rant before we dive into today's chaos. As some of you might have noticed, YouTube's algorithm has decided I'm not special anymore. Shocking, I know. So now if you don't like, comment, or do a little backflip in the algorithm's honor, this video might just vanish into the void, never to be seen again. Seriously though, even a hi or "this is wild" in the comments helps way more than you think. It tells YouTube, hey, people actually like this channel. Maybe don't hide it from everyone. That can really help push my videos out to a wider audience, not just to my subscribers. So if you enjoy these stories and want to support the channel, that's the best way to do it. Now grab a drink, get comfy, and enjoy the drama. You won't want to miss this one. Graduating college wasn't just about walking across a stage for me. It was years of hard work, sleepless nights, and a personal journey that had tested me in ways I could never have predicted. I, 20 female, had just received my degree in chemical engineering, and the sheer weight of what I had accomplished was beginning to sink in. After all, it wasn't just a degree, it was a testament to everything I'd been through. My mom was my rock through it all. She raised me alone for most of my childhood. Money was tight, but she always found a way to provide. She worked long hours, and I saw her sacrifice a lot. To this day, I'm not sure how she did it, but her determination and love were always present. I also worked part-time during high school, maintained a 3.8 GPA, and in college to ease her financial burden. But she always tried her best to support me emotionally and mentally. We were close, and I wanted her there when I finally graduated. She had supported me through every obstacle, so it only seemed right that she'd be there for me on the biggest day of my life. Things started to change, though, when she remarried. Jim was wealthy, successful in the construction business, and I didn't really mind that. It was more the way she changed after their marriage. Suddenly, I wasn't the priority anymore. We weren't as close as we once were, and I had to share her time and affection with Sally, 16 female, Jim's daughter. I understood that Sally had been through a lot. Her mother had abandoned her when she was young, and I tried to empathize with her. But the reality was painful. My mom seemed to care more about Sally's every need than mine. It was as though I had become secondary in her life. Sally was involved in all sorts of activities, competitions, dance recitals, and so on. Mom never missed a single event of hers. Meanwhile, I would get an apology for missing my school performances or a scheduling conflict when it came time for something important to me. I tried not to let it bother me, but it was difficult to swallow. She wasn't the same mom anymore, and I felt like I was losing her bit by bit. Then came the phone call. 2 days before my graduation, I got a call from my mom. Her voice was shaky, and she was barely able to speak through the tears. She told me that she'd been feeling chest pains and shortness of breath, and she was on her way to the emergency room. Her voice was filled with so much fear that I couldn't even process the words she was saying. I didn't know what was happening, but hearing her so scared made my heart race. I wasn't thinking straight. I just knew I had to be there for her. My graduation didn't matter anymore. It wasn't about walking across that stage or wearing a cap and gown. It was about my mom needing me, and that was all that mattered. I didn't think twice. I packed up my bags, canceled any plans I had, and hit the road. It was about a 4-hour drive, and the entire time I could barely focus on the road. My mind was running wild with all kinds of worst-case scenarios. Was she in real danger? What if something was seriously wrong? Would I have to make tough decisions? I kept replaying her words in my mind over and over, trying to make sense of it all, but I couldn't. All I knew was that I needed to get to her. When I finally got to her house, I was met with an empty home. I thought maybe I had missed her at the hospital, or that she was still on her way. I called Jim, my stepdad, hoping for some answers. He sounded oddly calm, almost too calm, and he told me that my mom was actually at Sally's dance recital. I was literally dumbfounded. Sally's recital, the one she goes to every other month, that's where she was. I couldn't wrap my head around it. My mom had just called me, terrified, saying she was on her way to the ER and now she was sitting in the audience of a dance recital. My chest tightened, and I felt a wave of confusion and anger all at once. I couldn't just let it go. I drove straight to the community center, and when I got there, I found her sitting in the crowd filming Sally's performance, clapping and smiling. She looked completely fine. No sign of chest pains, no hint of any emergency, no trip to the ER. Everything she had said to me was a lie. I stood there completely frozen. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. My mom, who had just hours ago sounded so scared and in pain, was sitting there acting like everything was normal. And when she finally noticed me standing there, her expression shifted. There was a brief flicker of guilt, but it was quickly replaced by defensiveness. It was like she was trying to justify what she had done, but I couldn't wrap my head around it. I asked her directly why. Why didn't she tell me the truth? And her response still haunts me. She told me that Sally needed her more than I did because of Sally's abandonment issues. She was just trying to be a better mom to Sally this time around. I didn't know what else to do. I couldn't cry. Not right there, not in front of her. So instead, I just laughed. It was a bitter, almost hollow laugh, but it was the only thing I could do to stop myself from breaking down. Then I pulled out my phone, transferred every penny she had ever given me for college, about $12,000, back into her account. I told her she didn't have to feel guilty about being a bad mom anymore, because she wasn't my mom anymore, and with that I blocked her number and walked out. I don't know how I managed to drive back to campus. I felt numb. Everything felt like it was happening to someone else. 3 days later, I still haven't really processed it. My phone was blowing up with messages from my stepdad, his family, and even Sally, all calling me selfish and cruel. They couldn't believe what I'd done. My mom was crying nonstop, saying I had ruined everything. It was all too much. I was overwhelmed, and I honestly didn't know how to handle it. My aunt, my mom's sister, was the only one who was on my side, telling me that what my mom did was completely inexcusable and that I didn't deserve that treatment. Now I'm left here wondering if I made the right call. Maybe I overreacted. Maybe I acted out of anger and hurt, and I should have approached it differently. Maybe I should have tried to have an open conversation to understand where my mom was coming from. But the truth is, the betrayal felt so deep. How could I ever rebuild trust with her after something like this? I don't know if I'll ever be able to forgive her for this. Did I make a mistake by cutting her off? Was I wrong for taking such drastic steps? Was I selfish for walking away? Am I an a-hole for what I did? Not the a-hole. She faked a medical emergency so OP would miss her own graduation, and then used "Sally needs me more" as justification. That's not bad judgment. That's emotional abuse and manipulation. OP dropped everything, risked her own safety driving 4 hours in a panic, and she was sitting there happily filming a dance recital. Returning the money was brutal, but honestly, it made the situation very clear. She chose her new family. OP chose herself. Actions have consequences. And now let's hear community's opinion. Not the a-hole, like aggressively not the a-hole. I don't think people understand how evil it is to weaponize chest pain and ER language when you know your kid loves you and will panic. She didn't just forget your graduation. She intentionally lied to get you to throw it away for a recital she's seen 100 times. She didn't just prioritize Sally. She told you flat out that you don't need a mom anymore. You simply agreed with her and made it official. Soft not the a-hole, but get therapy. Returning the $12,000 on the spot and blocking her was a nuclear move, but given the context, I get it. You were in shock and deeply hurt. Could it have been handled more calmly? Sure. But she lied about a life-threatening emergency to ditch you for the stepkid she now centers her whole identity around. That's not a mistake. That's a choice. I think your reaction came from years of being slowly pushed aside. Please don't let them gaslight you into thinking you destroyed the relationship. Your mother swung the axe. You just stopped holding the tree up. Update 1. It's only been a few days since everything went down, but I'm honestly overwhelmed by all the support I've received. When I first posted my story, I never imagined I'd get so many messages of encouragement, advice, and people just understanding what I'm going through. It honestly feels amazing to know that so many people are seeing things from my side. I've been feeling really lost and confused, especially with everything happening so quickly. But reading the comments has really helped me feel less isolated in all of this. It's like a weight has been lifted, even just a little. I'm still figuring out where to go from here, but I'm grateful to know that I'm not the only one who gets it. I didn't expect all the love and wisdom, but it's been eye-opening. It's helped me make sense of a lot of things, and for that, I'm thankful. To answer a couple of the big questions I've been getting, yes, I could afford to return the money. I just got a job offer from a major chemical company, and I start next month. Honestly, it still doesn't feel real. The whole job search process was such a roller coaster, and it had me second-guessing everything. But after all the stress, I finally landed something great. The job is a huge weight off my shoulders, and I'm really excited about what's to come. I've been living pretty frugally for a while, saving up my internship money and cutting costs wherever I could. I knew once I graduated, I'd need to be fully independent. So, when I transferred the $12,000 back to my mom, it wasn't a huge financial burden. I've been covering all my own living expenses since I started college. The money I gave back was just the amount she had contributed toward my tuition and books. When I did it, it just felt right. I didn't expect it to blow up the way it did, though. But as if things weren't complicated enough, my aunt dropped a huge bombshell on me yesterday. Apparently, Sally's mom, my stepdad's ex-wife, didn't actually abandon her like I'd always been told. I was shocked. I honestly couldn't believe it when my aunt told me. She's been around the family for years, so she's always in the loop with what's going on. She said that Sally's mom had been trying to stay involved in her daughter's life, but my mom and stepdad have been actively blocking her at every turn. My stepdad's wealth and influence played a major role in making sure that Sally's mom's attempts to see her daughter were delayed or completely blocked. To make things worse, they even went so far as to feed Sally these stories about her mom being unreliable and not caring about her. My aunt has proof, emails and text messages from Sally's mom asking to see her daughter, and it's all heartbreaking. I'm still processing it. It's a lot to take in, and I feel kind of blindsided by it. I never even thought about the possibility that Sally's mom was being kept out of her life. I just assumed the whole situation was complicated, but I trusted my mom and stepdad's version of things. Now that I'm looking back, though, it all makes sense. When I first met Sally, she used to talk about her mom a lot. She had all these old photos and toys from her mom, and she would hold on to them like they were treasures. But over time, she stopped mentioning her mom altogether. I didn't think much of it at the time. I figured maybe she just didn't want to talk about it. But now I can see it for what it probably was: manipulation. Sally was just a little girl. She trusted the people around her, and they filled her head with these stories that weren't true. The hardest part of all of this is realizing that I was a part of it, even if I didn't know it. I never questioned what my mom and stepdad told me. I believed them when they said that Sally's mom wasn't around or didn't care. I didn't realize the depth of the lies until now, and it hurts. Sally must have felt so abandoned and confused, but she didn't know any better, and I didn't help her see the truth either. I don't really understand why my aunt waited until now to tell me all of this. She said she didn't realize just how bad things were until recently. Apparently, she reconnected with Sally's mom after she reached out, desperate to see her daughter. My aunt shared some of the messages with me, and reading them broke my heart. Sally's mom has tried multiple times to go through the courts to regain access to her daughter, but every time my stepdad found ways to block her. His wealth and connections made sure that nothing ever came of her attempts. It's painful to know how much she fought to be part of Sally's life, only to have her efforts crushed every time. I'm sitting here trying to figure out what to do with all this new information. On the one hand, I feel like I should stay out of it. I'm already dealing with the aftermath of cutting my mom off, and this could make things way worse. On the other hand, I can't shake the feeling that Sally deserves to know the truth. If I were in her shoes, I'd want to know that my mom hadn't actually abandoned me, that she had been fighting to be part of my life all these years. But then again, Sally's only 16. Her whole worldview has been shaped by the belief that her mom left her. Telling her the truth now could completely shatter everything she's believed for most of her life. And then there's the fact that I don't trust my mom or stepdad not to come after me if they find out I've been involved in revealing any of this. Things are already tense between us. They're still furious that I cut them off. And I know this could make it 1,000 times worse. My mom's been playing the victim for so long, making it seem like I'm the one who's in the wrong, that I can't even imagine how ugly it would get if I went public with this. I know my stepdad would do everything in his power to protect his image, and he's already made it clear he doesn't respect me or my decisions. To make matters worse, my stepdad called me last night. I didn't pick up, but his voicemail was just as condescending as I imagined. He said he understood I was emotional and that I should take some time to cool off. And then, as if I needed more of his unsolicited advice, he suggested that I should apologize to my mom for hurting her so deeply. I couldn't even listen to the entire message. It made my blood boil. How could he say that after everything? He's been part of the problem all along. Right now, I'm just sitting with all this information, trying to figure out what to do next. Part of me wants to tell Sally the truth. She deserves to know that her mom didn't abandon her, that my mom and stepdad have been lying to her. But the other part of me is terrified of what that could do to her. I'm still trying to decide what's the right thing to do here. Whatever happens, I know things are about to get messy. If I go forward with this, it could blow everything up. But then again, if I don't do something, I feel like I'd be letting Sally down. I'll keep weighing my options for now, but I'm afraid whatever choice I make will have consequences I'm not ready to face. Update 2. Well, things have officially gone off the rails now. Everything that I was trying to keep under control has completely spiraled. Somehow, Sally's mom found out about everything. Probably through the grapevine because my mom and Jim have been telling anyone who will listen their side of the story. Word travels fast in a small town, and I guess it didn't take long for Sally's mom to get wind of what's been going on. Now, Sally's mom is absolutely furious. She's already talking to lawyers about this whole parental alienation thing. It's wild. I didn't even do anything to let Sally's mom know, but now I'm being blamed for all of this, as though I'm the one who set the wheels in motion. I'm the bad guy here, apparently. It's honestly so frustrating to be the target of their anger, especially when I've been trying to do the right thing this whole time. But I guess I shouldn't be surprised. This is how they've always worked. Twist the story, play the victim, and try to control everything. It's all manipulation, and it's exhausting. But here's where things get even crazier. Sally somehow found a bunch of emails and messages between her mom and my aunt. I don't know if her mom reached out to her, or if Sally went digging on her own. But either way, the truth came out. She confronted my mom and Jim about it. And from what I've been told, it was a total meltdown. Sally lost it. She screamed at them, accusing them of lying to her all these years. She was apparently shouting at the top of her lungs, and then she ran off to her room, locking herself in there. As for my mom, well, she went into full-on victim mode. Of course, she fell to the floor, sobbing uncontrollably, just like she always does when things don't go her way. Jim, on the other hand, was apparently speechless. He didn't even know what to say. My aunt said it was honestly like watching a train wreck in real time. It's painful, but I can't help but feel a little vindicated. For years, Sally's been manipulated into believing that her mom abandoned her, and now it's all coming to light. Maybe Sally will finally see her mom in a different light. And now, Sally's mom is on the warpath. She's furious, and she's not backing down. She's already started taking legal action, talking to a lawyer, and gathering every piece of evidence she can. I'm not sure how this will play out, but it's clear that my mom and Jim are in for a tough fight. Jim's wealth and connections will probably make things more complicated. But the good thing is that Sally is 16 now. At her age, her opinion matters a lot more in court. If she decides that she wants to live with her mom, Jim might not have the power to stop it. It's not a done deal, but things are definitely shifting. As for my mom, she's been in full victim mode. She sent a message to my aunt saying that she can't believe I would do this to her, and that I've ruined everything she's worked so hard to build. It's a classic move from her playbook. She's trying to guilt-trip me into feeling like I'm the one who's destroyed her life. But honestly, I'm not buying it this time. I've seen this act too many times. It's all just manipulation, and I'm not falling for it anymore. My mom even tried to call me from a different number since I have her blocked. I didn't pick up, obviously, but she left a voicemail. I couldn't bring myself to listen to the whole thing, but from what I heard, she was crying about how I've torn our family apart. It's honestly exhausting to hear the same guilt-tripping tactics over and over again. She's trying so hard to make me feel responsible for everything that's happening, but I'm not going to let her manipulate me like she used to. Right now, I'm just trying to take a step back and assess the situation. It feels like everything is happening all at once, and I'm just caught in the middle of it. Part of me wants to step in and try to help Sally, but I know that things are too complicated. I don't want to make things worse for her, especially since I don't know where she stands emotionally with all of this. I can only imagine how torn she must feel right now. She's 16 and her whole world is being upended. For now, I'm just going to let things unfold. I've done what I can, and I've made my choices. I can't control what my mom and stepdad do anymore, but it's hard to watch everything crumble, especially knowing that I'm the one they're blaming for it all. I don't know where things will go from here, but I can't say I'm not relieved that the truth is finally coming to light. It's messy and it's going to hurt a lot of people. But maybe this is what needs to happen for Sally to finally understand what's been going on all these years. Whatever happens, I know it's not going to be easy, but I've already made my peace with it. I can't keep living in this toxic web they've created. Update 3. It's been a few days now, and I'm still trying to make sense of everything that's happened. Honestly, it feels like everything's been happening so fast that it's been hard to even keep track of the chaos. 1 minute, I think I've got a handle on things, and the next, it feels like everything is spinning out of control again. But after sitting down and talking everything through with my therapist, I think I'm finally starting to get a clearer picture of where things might be headed. So, here's where it gets a little wild. Sally's mom's lawyer reached out to me. They wanted a statement from me about the parental alienation I'd witnessed in my house over the years. At first, I wasn't sure whether I should get involved at all. It just seemed like one big mess that I didn't want to get any deeper into. The last thing I wanted was to add more fuel to the fire, especially with everything that's already happened. My family's been through so much already, and I didn't want to be the one who made things worse. But after giving it a lot of thought, and after talking it over with my therapist, I realized that I had to get involved. Sally deserves to know the truth, and if I could help shed some light on what's been going on behind the scenes, maybe that would help her see the situation more clearly. I don't want her to be caught up in the same lies and manipulation I was, so I decided to give a statement. It wasn't an easy decision, but I felt like it was the right thing to do. The aftermath of all of this has been a lot to handle. Things are happening so fast, but I'm starting to see things fall into place. Sally found out about her mom trying to reach out to her, and I can't even imagine how overwhelming that must have been for her. It's a lot to process all at once. Right now, she's staying with her maternal grandparents while everything gets sorted out. At least she's in a safe space where she can take the time to process everything without all the pressure from my mom and stepdad pushing her in one direction. I'm really relieved she's got a place where she can breathe and figure things out for herself. As for my mom and stepdad, they're really facing some serious consequences for everything they've done. The truth is finally starting to come to light, and people are beginning to see just how much manipulation has been going on behind closed doors. I can't even put into words how surreal it feels to watch all of this unfold. For so long, it felt like they were the ones pulling all the strings, controlling the story, making sure they were seen in the right light. And now, all of a sudden, it's all unraveling. It's a lot to process, but there's this strange sense of relief that things are finally starting to move in the right direction. People are starting to wake up to what's been going on. Sally has actually reached out to me a few times. She sent me some messages, and I can tell she's really struggling with everything. She's been apologizing, especially for her part in the whole mess with the graduation. Apparently, she didn't even know about what happened until she saw a post online, and now she feels terrible. I can hear the guilt in her messages, and it breaks my heart to see her carrying that weight. But I told her that she didn't need to apologize. She's just as much a victim in this as anyone else. She didn't have all the information before, and she's been manipulated just like I was. I really want to make sure she knows that none of this is her fault. Now, we're actually planning to meet up for coffee next week to talk things through. I'm nervous about it, but I think it's something we both need. It'll be a tough conversation, no doubt, but I'm hopeful that it will help us start to rebuild some understanding, and maybe even a relationship. I don't know what that will look like in the long run, but I'm willing to try. I think we owe it to each other to at least try and clear the air. On a personal note, I'm doing better than I thought I would by now. Things are still tough, but I'm trying to stay positive. I'm about to start my new job in 2 weeks, and honestly, I can't even describe how excited I am for this fresh start. It feels like a new chapter is opening up for me, and I finally feel like I'm taking control of my life in a way I haven't been able to in a long time. I also signed a lease for an apartment in my new city, so it really feels like I'm building a life that's separate from all the family drama. It's kind of surreal to think about, but in a good way. There's still a lot of healing that needs to happen, but I'm taking steps in the right direction, and that's all I can ask for right now. Throughout all of this, my aunt has been an incredible support system. She's been there for me through everything, and I honestly don't know what I would have done without her. She's the one person I can always count on in this whole mess. I'm so thankful to have at least one healthy family relationship to rely on. She's been such a constant source of comfort and support, especially when everything else feels like it's falling apart. It's good to know that not all family relationships have been tainted by all this. Looking back, I know that returning the money and cutting contact with my mom was absolutely the right decision. At the time, I wasn't sure, but now it's clear that it forced everything out into the open. As messy and painful as it's been, maybe this is what needed to happen for things to finally start healing. It might not have happened the way anyone expected, but maybe that's how these things work. Sometimes the hardest decisions lead to the most unexpected outcomes. And in this case, maybe that's actually a good thing. That said, I still feel a little guilty for being the one who set all of this in motion. I know deep down that I didn't do anything wrong, but it's hard to shake the feeling that I could have handled things differently. My therapist keeps reminding me that it's normal to feel this way, especially since I've been so used to taking on everyone else's emotions for so long. It's just hard to break that habit, even when I know I made the right choice. Guilt is a tricky thing, and it sticks with you even when you know you did what you had to do. But in the grand scheme of things, I think I'm finally starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. Things are far from perfect, and there's still a lot of healing to be done, but I'm on the right path now, and honestly, maybe that's enough for now. I can't control everything, but I can control how I move forward, and that's what I'm focusing on.